fine.
Excuse me, hey, everybody.
Barry. Well, Barry, from your perspective, what was most impressive about what John did the other day?
Well, I mean, obviously the numbers were, ridiculous in that regard. You never go into a game expecting or planning for something like that to happen. You want to be able to throw the ball effectively, and I think just a continuation of his poise and grit and decisiveness, and never batted an eye during the course of the game. I think he helped our confidence level in that regard in our team when we were down 27-12, and those 2 touchdowns right before halftime were, huge for us, and kind of regaining the momentum right before halftime. But he, just probably from not necessarily start to finish, but the majority of the game he was spot on.
Seems like he's got a personality that guys really gravitate towards. I guess, what have you just observed about that since he got here, and then really in the last week or so with the bigger role?
He hasn't changed since he stepped foot. I mean, he was that way. The first information that we got, feedback, I should say, that we got back from just the players of, and this guy's like, he's wired a different way. I mean, he's wired. He's he's an alpha personality, and but knows not to, he knows who he is, and he's very comfortable in who he is, and he's been the same way every day, whether he's been the starter or the backup or coming off the bench, and the first week here, or now being here for a significant amount of time, he's the same every day.
I guess with Isaiah, what's been the biggest key for him making the jump that he has made from your first year here to this year?
Well, I wasn't afforded, obviously the opportunity to be with him his first year here, but obviously watched some film and knew he did some really good things that year. I think he's just really committed to his craft, and he's got character, intelligence, and ability, and that's a fantastic package when you have all 3 of those. When you have an incredible amount of character and an incredible amount of integrity and intelligence, like he does. I mean, that's to have those attributes being and also having some great physical qualities, that's usually a good formula to get the best out of who you are, and he certainly has done that on a consistent basis. I mean, he maximizes what how he was created and what he was created to be, and he does it on a daily basis. And I think that's been the key, is just a consistent attack and approach with all those and elements of having character, having intelligence, football intelligence, and then having natural ability. That's a good combination for him.
Barry, you've seen elite defenses in the Southeastern Conference. What makes Iowa unique to what they do?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, they they're a little bit different this year than they've been in the past. Just a little bit schematically, not enough to the naked eye that you would notice. They've got some nuances this year that plays to the strengths of who these guys are for them this year. Just like any coordinator would or should. But obviously the longevity of coach there, and the assistants, and just the system. It's year after year, they know, from when they get right in there from the very first day as a freshman, I'm sure it's, here's our system, here's how we teach it. They recruit to it, and they just, they're just so consistent. I mean, they make you earn every inch that you get. They make you earn it, and they very, very rarely make mistakes. And I think that's probably the unique nature of it, is just they're just so rigid and systematic, and then they're physical and tough, and a lot of good qualities you're describing. All those adjectives I'm saying, would be an earmark of a great defense, and certainly that's what this is.
The way they kind of chip the receivers off the line of scrimmage, is that a unique prep for your receiver core this week?
They do a good job of redirecting, especially inside. I don't think that's necessarily unique to some things we've seen during the course of the year. But yeah, you're going to get pressed, you're going to get redirected. They're going to do a good job getting their hands on you. They know where their zones are, they know where the weaknesses are of their defense, and they play to that. And so, I mean, it'll be a challenge for everybody that steps foot on the field this week for us to match, the intensity and the physicality and the execution. We're going to have to execute at a really high standard to move the ball consistently.
Barry, I asked this right after the game. Luke's playing so well, then John does this. And it's a good problem to have, but how do you handle this as a staff with these 2 guys moving forward?
Yeah, it's a really unique situation in that regard. Obviously what John is able to do, what he was able to do the other day, taking advantage of opportunity, and then to your point, Luke had, I think, really started hitting his stride. I think we got a great situation for our team there. You got 2 guys that have been playing winning football to a large degree, and that's a good thing. The more guys you get doing that at every position, the better off you are. And so, obviously, we have discussions about those things. We're going to have a plan moving forward, and I know Coach is coming in later, and that's something that he can speak more in detail about for us. But like, we feel really good about where those guys are at and the way they're playing. Feel really good about it, and so that's kind of how it is going forward.
Have you had a position room that's been hit like injuries, kind of like the running back room has? Seems like it's been a little bit of a revolving door there. Then what's it say about Reggie to come in after missing those games and have the game that he did?
Yeah, it's been an odd year in that regard at that position in particular. We've had a lot of different plans each week on who was healthy and who wasn't. And, the one consistency it's been in that room has been Thad, and the way he's handled that, and the way he's got whoever's been available, he's gotten them ready to play at a really high level. And Reggie was the latest example of that. It's like, okay, here's Reggie's week, and kind of his health peaked at the right time. And man, I just thought he ran as hard as well as I'd seen him run since I've been here with him, and just really shined during that game and took advantage of the opportunity. Was a big part of us winning that football game.
Coach, if there's a scenario where you guys could still win the West, you guys talk about that at all or not? Is that too far?
We're focused on our daily task at hand. Coach laid that out real clearly for us. The last month of the season, literally we're going day by day and saying, here's our Monday prep of Iowa, and that's all we're focused on today is Monday prep. Our game planning, our players' day off, and hopefully some of those guys put some overtime work in on their own. It's only focused on today, and tomorrow will be about Tuesday of Iowa week. And I think that's been a good formula for us, is just to focus on the task that's at hand on a very minute scale.
I know Brett's mentioned that schedule a few times in the last, like he laid out a schedule. What's that do for you guys as coaches or as players to have it kind of really dialed in as much as it is?
Well, I think it's just a way of Coach, from his leadership standpoint, saying here's what's ahead of us. Here's what we're focused on. Coach he's always been that way, and he lays out months ahead of time for our players, like here's your schedule, here's the off-season schedule. Now we got an 8-week cycle here, right? A 4-week cycle here, and he's very clear with that. And he laid out a 4-week cycle that said, here's where it's at, and we're going to take it one day at a time. Here's the big picture, and here's the micro scale of that, is we're going to focus today on Tuesday. So I think that's been really healthy for our organization. I think it's something our guys and coaches have really responded and rallied around, and has been a good thing for us.
Just as a unit, this has been your 4 most productive games in a row in the Big Ten. What's been the key to that? I mean, offensive line, obviously.
Yeah, I think the line has gotten healthy and stabilized, and Bart's done a nice job with those guys. They continue to get better and better. We've ran the ball better at times. Our quarterback play's been better. Our wideouts have risen up. Obviously there's a lot to be desired about some of those performances, and there was a lot to be desired the other day about some moments that we didn't perform well in, that we can't have lapses in execution or play call in a moment in a game like we're about to play. We're gonna have to be spot on for the whole entirety of the game. But I think it's probably been a myriad of things. We probably have, we've just kind of leveled off and kind of hit our stride to some degree of like understanding who we are, what the lineup looks like, the consistency. Here's our balance. There's a lot of moving parts that go into that, but certainly have felt that. Obviously I think since the Maryland game, that I think our players have sensed and have got maybe a renewed sense of confidence, and obviously the other day should go a long ways in helping our guys in that regard as well. So
Barry, with how Iowa has performed on defense statistically, with how the game here last year played out, do you calibrate expectations with your players on what type of game you expect?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you just look at the numbers, and numbers are one thing if they're through a week or 2 or 3 weeks, but when you go to 10 weeks and the statistics are what they are, I mean, there's a lot of validation into what this is who they are. I mean, they're hard to score against. They don't give up a lot of touchdowns, and so I think our guys are confident in who we are. And to answer, as I answer that question, like that, I think our guys are in a good spot from a confidence standpoint and kind of hitting our stride offensively. But we haven't faced a challenge like this all year. So certainly we do, and we did last year, and we know that, listen, we're going to have to fight, scratch, and claw for everything we get. Our job is to score 1 more point than Iowa. Whatever that looks like, that's our job to try to figure that out. And do we expect it to be a shootout? Man, probably not, but we're gonna have to fight, scratch, and claw. But we're excited about the opportunity that's ahead of us.
What do you think led to Ashton Hollins being able to step in for Pat the way he did? Felt like that could have been a real big opening moment when Pat had to leave the game, and he kind of stepped up.
Yeah, he did, and did a great job. Made some one really critical play, and Ashton's very, very composed. He's very mature, and he's another one like Isaiah that was a quarterback in his background, and still every day is a new day for him. I think George has done a great job of developing his skill set, and Ashton just keeps getting better. Another guy that's got an incredible amount of character. He's got intelligence. He's got ability. Those are good combinations, and so that just continues to show that we've got other guys that we feel really good about to be able to step in behind those other, the three guys that played the bulk of the time for us. And Ashton was that was his opportunity because it was his position that went down, and man, he was huge during the course of the game for us.
It's kind of hard to nitpick when you have 600 yards of offense, but some of the red zone issues and short yardage issues, are those more highlighted against a team like Iowa that doesn't give up a lot of points?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we get down the red zone, and they're traditionally very stingy in the red zone. Iowa is, and we have to be able to maximize those opportunities and not kick field goals. And if we'd have done that the other day, if we'd have executed a little bit better, maybe had a different play call a time or two, we could have easily been especially late in the game, we had a chance to put it away, not put it away, but get it to 12 with 5 minutes to go. And I think that probably would have been enough to keep it from, getting as interesting as it did, but yeah, we got to be better. That's a big point of emphasis for us. We celebrated the way the guys played and the plays that were made and the way the line played, and we ran the ball. But we also know those critical moments, man, we have to be better. We have to be spot on when you're fighting and scratching and clawing for everything that you're getting, especially like an opponent that we're about to play.
What did it mean for you to see Casey finally get in the end zone?
Boy, that was a relief, and obviously our whole team was excited for him. I mean, that was something that it's just kind of one of those strange deals that I wasn't even tuned into it, until a couple weeks ago that hadn't even happened, and for a guy, I think we've talked at length, and I know Coach has as well, like just what Casey's meant to our offense and his fearless competitiveness and his leadership and just bringing it every day. And that was awesome to see him break through with that. We need more of that. We need to give him more opportunities to help create touchdowns for us, because we're very confident when we throw the ball to him, good things happen.
Good.
All right, guys.